some water now.
What? Hey. Hey. Shout out Riley. She goes crazy. Unleash my flow like it's venom. I feel like Spider-Man on the beat. I might just kick a flow like a heat rock. Break your whole body apart, you know I mean that. To break your mind or your soul, but I come like that. I don't know what's inside my package, but I run right back. Anytime that I kill a flow, I come correct. So I fall off, but then I recollect any memory of me fucking up, and then I dead that shit. Get in my little voice, and then I get to red mass. I don't know what's in my brain, but I know that I'm going fast until I eat quickly on this beat like a swift meal. I know that I'm ducking off like I gotta pick steel. I'm in the curve still. I don't know what's next, but I still wanna peel my mind back. So I'ma rewind that and take this whole track apart. I gotta hold things aside as I rap the sword. Damn, I rap bizarre, so I had to recollect myself and get these rapper scars off my body, cause I've been rapping way too hard to catch a homie. So I'ma just take it far and reach the stars and grab one of them. Burn my hand quickly, I'm dashing a friend, passing again, and I'm passionate, man. Hey, rapping with friends, and I'm back in the wind. Don't know what's happening, matching the end. I know what's next, the show by the end. Alright, let's go. Welcome to DaVinChi Radio. It's your boy West, chilling with
Mauriwowi. How's it going?
You already know we got a guest. What's your name?
Loren. Loren Films.
Loren Films is here with us, and he's gonna introduce himself, tell you a little bit about what he does and his background, and how we met and everything.
DaVinChi Radio.
I'm mainly right now, so yeah, I'm a filmmaker going to SMC Film Production. Right now, I'm mainly directing commercials and music videos on the side, just like freelance cinematography and directing. You know, it's a good place to start. My end goal is to be a feature film director, but right now, I'm just out here trying to make whatever I can and meet cool guys like these dudes to collaborate with.
Oh yeah, very cool, man. So, I guess going on that, where did you start with me, like your film? Like what was your first step into this?
Yeah, no, it's a good question.
Yeah, like what made you want to, I guess, get film? Because I know we're gonna talk about you moving out here and doing film, but like I never thought about that part either. What you're asking, like,
like the start
film where you were like before you moved out here.
Yeah. So honestly, man, like wanting to tell stories visually is. Like has been something that I feel like has always been a part of me. Even before I was making films, I was as a kid always drawing comic books, acting out little scenes with my fucking toys, you know how it is. But really it started when I was like 11 years old, 10, 11. Started picking up my mom's iPad and just filming shit using iMovie, and I would make these like skate videos with my friends. We'd go down to the skate park and I'd make these little edits and put them on YouTube for like 10 people to see. And so that was kind of where it all started. That's the origin story. Fast forward to like junior of high school. That summer I go to UCLA for like this summer filmmaking thing. And that was a really eye-opening experience for me. Going to that allowed me to get the confidence I needed to be a filmmaker, and I really felt ready to go out there and start taking this seriously. So after that, that senior year of high school, I directed my first like major short film, because I made one at UCLA, but this was the first one I both wrote and directed, and it's the longest thing I made too. It's 20 minutes. It's called The Mark. Now it's kind of old relative to the stuff I've made now, so it's like feels more amateur than the shit I do now, but it's kind of a part of my origin. So yeah, after that, you know, I graduated high school during the fucking pandemic, so I basically was just stuck inside for months wanting to blow my fucking brains out. And I was just getting so sick of, there's no opportunity where I lived, just in a small town outside of Santa Cruz, which is a really dope city, but I lived outside of that in the Redwoods in just a small town, and there's just nothing going on in terms of a film industry.
I want to know about that a little bit. Damn, this wind is kind of crazy. I can hear this shit crazy. But I was going to say, I've heard about the Redwoods, and I want to know about that because I've had roommates that told me they spent some time there and like living there. Like, I feel like that would be inspirational. Even like there isn't necessarily like a film industry, I feel like I would be inspired by the scenery, like type like vibes that there is out there, because it's real like crazy looking, like, you know, rural, like, I imagine, like, but at the same time, like, massive, like.
I mean, I had a channel called with my friends called Rural Exploring. We just fucking ran around the redwoods finding abandoned buildings and shit.
Did you ever think of any movie ideas, like, based off, like, that, like, those areas?
Dude,
and stuff?
Totally. And, you know, even like you said, even if there's no film industry there, that environment is still very inspiring visually. The environment, the atmosphere, certainly, I think, has definitely inspired me. And, I mean, that's even evident with The Mark. That short film I was just talking about, I shot that like right next to where I live in this meadow in a clearing in the redwoods. So that is literally what you're talking about. That using that environment to my advantage, because it's supposed to be like it's sort of like this post-apocalyptic world. So they're like kind of camping out in the middle of the woods. Like people live in like this fractured world, almost like living around campfires and surviving. You know.
Damn. I dig that because I feel like I resonate with a lot of that, like, out here, because there's, like, the wash and, like, a lot of background where there is desolateness, but it's not, like, crazy like that. But that always inspired me music video-wise. Like, I liked music videos where it was kind of, like, it reminded me of, like, ponds and lakes and shit like that, because I feel like those out here, all you really got is, like, a little cut like that. You know what I mean? Like this, like, behind your pad, like.
Yeah. I mean,
but that visually was like inspiring.
You guys got the Western look though. When I moved out here, I started getting inspired to make like Westerns just from the environment.
I feel it. Then like
that's what I mean. Yeah, kind of like that type of like Westerns. You start to. I remember when I was a kid, I used to notice my dad, because he likes Westerns, would point out areas like, oh, this is in Agua Dulce. This is in. You know what I mean?
That road, Soledad Canyon, and I think Soledad or Sierra Highway. I think Sierra Highway is the one, but that one has been in like countless amount of films, from my understanding. Wow. Like it's like notoriously known for those like long like driving scenes with like kind of just like hills in the background.
Ooh, beautiful.
It's cool, but
I wonder
it's
if
like,
I took that road coming up here. Probably not. I don't know.
Possibly. Like maybe. I think like if you came off the freeway, you probably at least passed it. You passed that main highway.
Well, it was a really beautiful view on the way. Once we finally got off the freeway, so serene, man. It feels nice to get out of the city and come out to a little more of the countryside out here, man.
Dope.
That's funny.
A little breath away from the intenseness out there.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like that's the effect I get visiting home too. It just feels like a break. I feel like I'm in nature, you know. It's a nice sort of reset. Then hop back in LA and have shit be just hectic as fuck, you know.
So you got tired of it at some point? I'm assuming maybe like that you wanted to
not
dip
really
out, or
tired of it, more just like burnt out, I guess. Like just like pretty much just feeling like.
I feel like I imagine that like after like if I lived there my whole life, like I can imagine at some point me being like. But then you moved to like Santa Cruz though, which is I imagine like very different because it's still more city like.
Yeah, so like we probably live like 15. Our house is like probably 15 minutes outside of Santa Cruz, so it's like you're adjacent to that city environment.
I want to know more about that. I went to Monterey, but like I never. Weird enough, I'm one of those people like I was supposed to go there. Mad weekends, I've never been to Santa Cruz, and I was right there.
Never been to the boardwalk?
No, I've never been, and I've seen it in movies.
Have you seen Us?
Yeah, exactly. I've seen it in Us. I want to see that shit because it looks crazy in that movie. Like, they really filmed the whole movie there.
I've never been up there, but it looks nice. Seen them, like you said, like in the movies.
Yeah, no, that was big for the boardwalk. Like they should have built like the maze from Us there. They could have made a ton of money if they built that there.
I heard that it's whack like that. Like you go there and it's just not there.
No,
like,
there's no like, underground fucking whole thing. Like
there's
that.
no like nothing like of the set really. It's just like this is the place.
Pretty much, it seemed like a missed opportunity. If the boardwalk was able to partner with like Universal or something and make that shit, they could have. Tourists making it fucking rain with tourist money. Like, oh my god, seems like just such a missed opportunity.
But I was gonna say another thing similar to that happened to me was this one show Californication I used to really like. It was the same thing like that. Like I remember I was really hyped on it at a point in time, and I was like, oh wait, I'm gonna figure out where this street is where he lived, because he lived on Venice on like
it was just so different.
And it was like it was there. It took some time to find it, but it was just like nothing was really there. It was kind of just like, oh wait, that's the brick wall, and then like you look across and it's like that's this mailbox. It's right here. Like
yeah, that was I've had one thing like that. Do you guys watch Ned's Declassified?
Yeah, shit, I have not.
It was like a.
It was on Nickelodeon where like those kids had like not powers.
Man,
but
I used to watch Nickelodeon so much. You guys know about all these Nickelodeon shows. How did I not?
that one
fucking
came
see
out in
them?
like middle school. I feel
Yeah,
like.
that one. Yeah, it was exactly.
Okay,
what
I
say,
think
it
I
was
was
a middle
more into
school
Cartoon
time-ish.
Network at that age. but
Okay.
Adult Swim, yeah.
But it was this show, right, that took place in this middle school, and like it looked so cool from the inside because it had all these lockers, and they would do like all this shit. But the outside shots were always of a different spot, like, but unbeknownst to me. But I ended up going to that school because that school is right here. It's like
around
the
the
local
corner.
school. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And so when I went there, I was like, oh shit, I'm at Ned's Declassified, and I'm like, oh, those are like those things. I'm like, that's so cool. And when you go inside, it's like, wait, where
like
the
a
lockers
different
at?
school and
Yeah,
shit.
it's like, wait,
Because it's a
oh,
set.
they just. I was like, wow, and so they just use the picture of the outside.
So it's just the exterior.
Exactly.
Because all the interiors are probably on sound stages. I'm
Exactly.
guessing. They build those things because they can have breakaway walls. So it's like if they want to get a camera in a certain spot, a lot of times rooms are too small. You can only move the camera so far away to get a wide. So on oh, goddamn, this is what happens. You drink Pepsi on a podcast. Got the okay. Fuck. What was I saying? So you Alright, anyway, so the fucking soundstage, and they can move the walls out of place so you can bring a camera and all the equipment in, and fit it there. So all the walls are breakaway. They can like literally slide them out on wheels.
Yeah, that's crazy. That it's so cool. Like it's such a smart idea. But that was my first introduction to like being like, oh wait, so they don't all film it all in the same place.
Yeah.
Like I was
Hollywood,
like, wow,
man.
they take little pieces and they like. But it's cool because that's
Yeah.
a smart way of being able to
Yeah.
build a reality. You know what I mean? You don't have to necessarily. It's kind of. You don't have to play off of what's already there. You can make your own, and so you can use like say this room from this house, or then this room from this other house, and then this other exterior, and then this whole other backyard, and then like you kind of fashion whatever you want your world to look like in your film.
Yeah, and it's like I don't understand why that people see that as a negative. Like, oh, it's Hollywood, it's all fake. It's like, well, yeah. What do you? It's art.
Yeah.
Like, do you understand? To create good art, you need to be able to like manipulate reality. Like that's essentially what art is. It's our interpretation. So like you have to be able to craft something. And I don't understand when people are like, oh, Hollywood's all a facade. Like every time you see a movie, it doesn't actually look like that. It's like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah,
I think like the trippy part about it, I feel like it's a fine line between it because like there's the whole argument that life is art. You know what I mean? Like an art imitates life.
That's a question. Which one comes first?
And I think that in some sense that's where people get hung up on, that like, well, if life is, you know what I'm saying, if art is just an imitation of life, like that's the real art form, then people be trying to get it right. But I think there's an art in like not trying to get it right to an extent.
No,
you know what I'm
you
saying?
make a good point.
Because
And-
that's the
yeah.
part where it's like I feel you on. Because if you
Yeah.
purposely trying to recreate something, like you can't always recreate
Exactly.
every moment perfectly. You got to use like
Exactly.
tools and shit to make it feel how it felt.
And because what
to
you're
display
describing
it.
is authenticity. It's that search for truth in something. And so even if there's an artifice, if you're still basing that off of like a central core of like trying to capture an authentic moment, if you're trying to stay true to whatever this reality is, then I think you.
It's like in film, that's not even exactly what it is because you making shit look shiny. Like you making it look
and
like.
I don't like films that are just pretty for pretty's sake. Like I think a film needs to say something
true.
with its visuals and not just look good.
But a perfect example is like I gotta ask your opinion on that one movie that like people fucked with. That like I don't really get like the one where it was, what was it called? Where they were homeless and it was like on the recent and they were living in like a trailer park.
Trailer Park Boys. That's a show.
Nah, it was a movie.
Oh, are you talking about Nomadland?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that one Best Picture.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't really. That's what I'm saying is like I feel like that's an example of someone really trying to get some authentic shit that like wasn't
Yes.
really like a movie. Like it was a movie, but it wasn't really like entertaining like that because it was overly just trying to be
it's
like
too real.
Like
It doesn't give you the story.
yeah, it's like if I was following like somebody around.
So how did you like it?
I feel like it was. I like how they shot it. That was my best part about it. You know what I mean? Like it looked cool, but I didn't like. I don't feel like I like that premise of a movie.
I think that style is like challenging to watch.
Yeah,
It kind of takes a certain level of patience, I feel, and it's not for everyone.
cause I like long movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I like Boyhood. That movie's fucking sick.
Yeah, man, Boyhood really feels like a journey because you're
Yeah.
experiencing someone's life. I feel
Exactly.
like Boyhood makes like a good argument for why it should have such a long runtime. Some movies are longer than they need to be.
Yeah. Yeah, like
and I think you can always tell when that's the case.
Like I could have got that hard ass idea about, because it was kind of like somebody making a movie about like somebody you see in the wash, and like two ladies though, and like their whole life and like their campsite and all that vibe.
It's
like,
a type of film that's kind of like, people call it slice of life. It's like just capturing like just authentic moments in people's life without trying to like morph it into some like cohesive message. It's almost like life just, sometimes life doesn't always have like some grand meaning. It's like just moments, and it's kind of challenging you to make your own interpretation. But the issue with a film like that is there's not a lot of like, when the story is so like structureless and weak, it can often leave you feeling not as invested in like the tension of what's happening. But I think
that factor kind of drives it. I feel like though, what you spoke on before, because my dad said that he was like, it's just real life though. Like it's kind of like a real life movie. Like the lesson
That's
of
a good way of putting
the lesson is just too real to like not really fuck with it. That's why they kind of had to give it the award, like, because it was just like, damn, that could happen to anybody type shit. The way they kind of proposed it, like, and I was like, damn, that is kind of like. Right now, like the pandemic and shit, was like, I feel like that is kind of like a real life thing. Like,
it's
some people just lost their shit.
It hit on a feeling perfectly that everyone at that time was experiencing.
Exactly.
And it's so crazy that that film was made before the pandemic. Chloe Zhao, had no idea that was going to be the case. But the type of film it was, I think, resonated so powerfully with people because you felt so centered on Frances McDormand's character. It wasn't about some grander plot. It was just about you following this person on a very humanistic, very empathetic level, and I think that alone is powerful. Is it powerful enough for its length of a movie? I don't know. I got a little bored too.
That's where it's kind of like. That's where it's kind of like
yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I gotta check it out.
It's on Hulu. Like, you should check it out.
Well, if anything, we should get into some of your inspirations, film-wise. Like, when we talking about like,
for sure.
What inspires you? Like, what films? What directors? What, like? I'm sure we all are on. Like,
what anything?
Yeah.
Like anything that inspires you.
For sure. So I think that for me, it would definitely be Stanley Kubrick. I have to name primarily. Just because the age I was when I started watching his films really deeply impacted me. Like early, like around freshman, sophomore year of high school, when I saw like Full Metal Jacket, 2001: A Space Odyssey, Clockwork Orange, I'd never seen films that could be so powerful in terms of how stylistically bold it was. And shit, gotta stop drinking the soda. But even going before then, like Saving Private Ryan really was eye-opening because it introduced me to a new experience that I had never quite had with a film before. It was one that was just so visceral and so intense, and I didn't know a film could convey feelings
Saving
like
Private
that.
Ryan?
Yeah, the opening.
The crazy part is, I've never seen Saving Private Ryan. I'm a weirdo.
Honestly,
I've only seen bits and pieces of it. I haven't been able to see the whole. Like I've seen it in multiple times, but only
TV,
like pieces of it at a time.
As I pass.
You guys just need to check out like the first 20 minutes of it. The D-Day landing scene is like like perfect filmmaking.
Put us on. I know the audience has seen this shit. You feel me? Like whoever's listening, they've seen this shit.
You know what I'm talking about. Like, and look, maybe if you've already seen a ton of war movies and then you watch Saving Private Ryan, it maybe wouldn't be as impactful. But imagine you're like fucking 8, 9 years old, probably a little too young to be watching that shit, and you see something this intense. You see someone like their intestines hanging out, they're like screaming for their mom, and I just didn't know that a work of art could be so powerful. Like I felt it in my core, I felt it on a subconscious level, and I think it was just fucking, it changed me.
No, that scene is intense. That is one of the like I've only seen like bits and pieces, but I definitely have seen like the first like 40 minutes or something like that of it. Yeah, but that shit was crazy, dude. Like seeing them coming out of the water and just getting absolutely blown on the beach.
Yeah,
like,
just mowed down.
Absolutely, it's crazy. They're just it was
the
real
fact
because
that humans can do that to each other.
Yeah, it was intense. Like honestly, when I was younger, I was really fascinated by like all the all the wars like that mankind had kind of gone through. Like I was just kind of seeing like what kind of drives people to be so like the need to conquer, do all this stuff, and like seeing that. And like that film was one of the first few that I got to see on like World War II, and like that was like part of like my fascination. So seeing that like that piece, I was like, man, it's crazy. It was like a real piece of, or not real because I mean it's not real, but like a piece of like that was what really happened in an essence back then, you know?
If that's what I mean when I talk about authenticity in film, is because you feel so grounded with these soldiers. You feel like what they're experiencing is real, and there's no artifice in that. When you feel connected to characters and you feel connected to the world around them, you can do anything. It's crazy. Yeah, man. I mean, just like, what about you guys? I've
watched a few like war films, but one of them that had like a very like kind of impactful moment on me is Apocalypse Now.
Dude, okay.
It's like one of my favorite movies of all time.
That was probably the second war movie that hit me really hard, yeah.
That's like, even of all, like, that's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's just like, I really like the storytelling in it.
Oh
it pulled me in like crazy, and it's like, I wasn't really hella into war movies at that time, but I liked movies, you feel me?
Because it's almost not a war movie. It's almost like a, it's like a psychological thriller almost.
That's what it was. It did it for me. Like, it was really like, I love that part about it, because I always saw war, like what he was saying a little bit, as like a more of like a psychological thing. Like a whole concept of it was kind of like ill
in the head of the characters.
And they really went there with that. Like, they showed like how it was kind of like, you start off the shit with like someone lost their shit over there, and this fool who's already off the Richter has to go save him. And it's like, starting it on that note was just like, I felt like I could feel the theme music of the movie,
dude.
You know what I'm saying? It was like, it was one of those movies where you could feel like it's just like music could be playing and shit in the back. Like, I don't know why.
I haven't had the chance to see that one yet, but sounds pretty interesting. Sounds like right up my alley.
There's a lot of crazy ass scenes though too. I think one of the first crazy scenes though, someone told me to look at it before, is because like they take acid or some shit on this boat before they go into the scary part, like the soldiers. And it was like, I knew that was going on at that time,
dude.
But it was like crazy to really think about it in that concept of how it's like they're like, they start going crazy and they're going into the jungle. And I'm like, damn, these fools are about to start murking fools. And the fools that are there are literally kind of like already like deranged and shit at this point, because they have like heads posted on like the things as they're pulling up. Like, so, and it's from the book.
You know what I'd recommend?
Enter to Darkness or something, right?
Like, I think it's called
Enter Heart of Darkness.
Hearts of Darkness is a documentary. I think it's I forget that it's something like
that. Like it's a book.
But I would highly recommend, since you seem to love Apocalypse Now so much, I would highly recommend checking out Hearts of Darkness. It's a documentary about the making of it. And what's fascinating about it is that Francis Ford Coppola, the writer and director, essentially went through a similar emotional and psychological journey as the very characters. It was sort of like his descent into madness. His obsessive creative impulses kind of like drove them to do like crazy shit, and he almost like killed himself multiple times making it.
So that scene in the beginning with the other fool that was like hurt, like that was probably real life inspired, probably like.
Yeah, it's one of the most insane stories of making a film. That and like, I don't know, like what's it called? Fucking shit, I'm blanking on the name of it. Fitzcarraldo, which is a movie about based on a real story where they literally lugged a boat across an island, so it's like he hired a bunch of locals to do that, and so Werner Herzog, the director, recreated that in real life and had people fucking create a whole rig to drag a boat across a mountain. And fucking what's crazy is what Werner Herzog did kind of mirrored what the character of Fitzcarraldo did with the boat. I mean, in the movie, he's like kind of exploiting the local tribes people, the natives there, to do work for them. Similar thing happened where Werner Herzog was kind of exploiting a lot of the crew, which were locals that didn't know English very well, were easy to manipulate, and overworked, underpaid. And it's crazy to see that like parallel. Again, there's a lot of times the director's parallels with the protagonist, because the director is almost like putting themselves into the character. That one is fucked up, because it's like people were abused, and like one dude I think maybe even died, and like Werner Herzog wanted to keep getting the shot. It's like a dude was like needed to get in an ambulance, and he was like, no, we have to keep rolling.
I heard Stanley Kubrick had his fair share of instances like that, but he wasn't like over the top. But I heard he kind of was like in that bag.
Yeah, Kubrick could be quite manipulative and abusive as well, and that's the aspect of him I don't respect and I don't admire. Is the way I don't think you need to do that as a director. You don't need to manipulate people. You don't need to do what he did to Shelley Duvall, which is fucking smash on her door in the middle of the night while she's sleeping to give her like literal psychological trauma and slowly wear her down day by day. So she's.
I think like the idea of all that shit was kind of like history though, because I think that maybe showed people like what not to do and shit, but it also showed people like damn, like art and other shit has like a powerful like good and bad side. Like,
yeah,
it could kind of become you like, and I think those examples are some of the like crazy examples because we literally seen it in real time. Like we seen the art and how much people loved it and shit, but we seen also how it was like, damn, this shit is really crazy because he was really like on some crazy
I think
shit.
you can separate the art from the artist too. You can appreciate something without.
He's about that. He'll explain that.
So
he talks about that shit a lot.
I was gonna say yes to that, but I was gonna say on the comment before that is like this is a moment where I feel like art kind of imitates life, and like that difficultness, or it's like the ugliness of like sometimes we don't like to see the process and some things of what it takes to get it done right.
You like to enjoy something without understanding what it took to get there.
Exactly. Like we're talking about like the war films, you know what I mean? And we talk about war, like the idea of these people going and like just like we question like freedoms and like our own like thing. Like we're all doing the things, but there's people that are out there doing like those crazy stuff. Like that's the ugly side of things, is sometimes people overlook and see that like, oh, this is what has to go down for this to happen. And even like when you think in like
imitates art shit kind of goes too far.
Exactly. And like even if you take it like a high level, like on the governmental things, like all the nasty shitty stuff that they do, but they try to justify as like, oh, this is what needed to be done to
it's the same kind of principle. Like,
so it's like
dude, you're a fucking genius. I would have never thought to make that parallel.
But that's an interesting parallel. But that is the same principle, like where it's like you saying because it's like supposed to be done this way, like I gotta do like to make it better.
Exactly. It's an attempt at justification, and it's like
I couldn't agree more, man. Holy
and like
shit.
you can see it on both sides where people are like, okay, I get it, like we got to this point, so yes, you could say whatever you needed to do got us here, but look what you did.
Back at it, you should make some like, that's what I mean, like that's what gives us the ability to make the changes and be like, oh damn, I want to take it this far, but I don't want to use these methods, you feel me? Like I want to use different methods.
Yeah. But on that, also going into the second thing of like separating the art from the artist, I really believe in that night, because for me, like, I guess this is something where we could like we were saying in relation to Kubrick, like a lot of those films, like, you know, Full Metal Jacket, Saving Private Ryan, and then later like the Clockwork Orange.
Saving Private Ryan is Spielberg.
Yeah,
Spielberg, yeah, because I was
Clockwork Orange was the one that we were talking about.
Orange,
I think like that's the one with the girl, right? That he like was like.
No, that's the
There's a scene where he like.
No, that's what the homie that's like.
He's like beating up and raping a woman. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's like a little bit of the in out. That's what they say. It's the fucking the weird language. You know, he's like with my droogs.
It took me so long to understand even what was going on in that movie.
It's too wild.
It's like a weird
just like weren't talking shit.
Yeah.
And then I kind of just like started paying attention to just the movie, and I was like, oh well, it's just like you see what's going on in the movie.
The language they created is so genius.
Yeah.
It's so twisted. It
like
mirrors the film's environment, which is like this. You seeing everything through like this twisted, perverted lens of Alex's character. The whole world is almost like a joke to him. It's something that it's fun to commit ultra violence, and it's such a strange dystopia. I love his vision for it.
Like that whole language shit is some whole other shit. I really like. That's kind of really cool. It's really like by making it another like aspect of the film, I think that's some shit I don't think I've seen nobody do.
I love the production design. I think it's my favorite production design of every Kubrick. Like it's even the weird fucking rooms.
It lives on.
Milk bar.
It's fun and wild. That's what makes it though.
I've literally seen that shit live on forever because there's that one picture too of the Outcast.
It feels so
like
ahead of its
did
time,
that photo
too.
shoot, and Andre 3000 is dressed like with the little shit. Like,
Oh, he's got the Alex shit.
and
He's a
like,
droog.
and it's like and it's like that photo always goes around because it's just like. It was the set design and the fashion of it was just like nobody never seen those shows.
It was
like
next
that.
level. But being on that point of like that was like seeing his work being really cool, but I never really go into seeing like what too much into like the artist behind it that makes the stuff. I love the art. Like I love seeing the movies. I love seeing or listening to music. I love seeing art, you know, physical pieces, whatever it may be, right? But more often than not, I don't go the next level of like looking too into the artist and seeing like them. And so like
I only do that for filmmaking because I'm a filmmaker.
It makes
as
yeah.
well.
It's there's certain artists that like once they capture my attention, I'm like, all right, I want to get to know you better. But like on a general scheme, like I really don't look into too many artists.
Lately, I've started doing that. I just want to say this really quick because lately I've started doing that with music more. Like fucking, I started like wondering, it like occurred to me like, okay, so like yeah, Travis Scott produces some of his music, but like who's also behind it? And then I started listening to Mike Dean. Do you guys know Mike Dean?
Yeah,
he's a fucking legend.
You
bro.
never even, bro. I remember when
I
we were
didn't
like
realize
in,
this dude made Kanye,
most of
Travis
his shit, bro.
so much.
Like when we were in like
fucking
high school, I remember that was the biggest like plot twist of my life. Like when the homie showed me like the credits of the Travis Scott album, and I really loved Travis Scott, and it was like Mike Dean, and it was like co-wrote on every song. I was like Mike Dean, and I was like, what?
Yeah,
Mike Dean pretty much made every song, but then I realized I was like, that was before I started understanding like the whole process, and that's what really got me a lot into music, because I was like, wait, you could have somebody like this who's really like who knows
guy.
like
no one
music,
knows, but
you feel me? Like he knows piano,
all of the sound.
he knows all the bass, he knows like everything, and then you could have somebody just get him with like a creative who's gonna be like, yo, we need to make a song like this, we need to make a song like this, and then they have a connection of being like from Houston. You could just make magic. Like I was just like, damn, that's crazy. Like, cause it's just like they locked in. He has like the experience how to write songs, and that's why like that's when I first learned about writing song credits for music. Like you get song credits if you wrote the music. So this was writing the songs literally by playing the bass on this part, playing the bass on this part. Being like, all right, then we have piano. That's the song. Yeah. You know what I mean? You probably get a bigger percentage of the song being like, I brought you this whole song with all the parts, like what was gonna go where. All you did was kind of make this melody.
Yeah, no, he's produced so much, and he does so much of like the actual like legwork for them. It's crazy, but it's beautiful seeing like going into deep and like seeing like the way all the parts work, like going into diving deeper and like finding the Mike Deans and finding like
dude, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
like I definitely do love seeing that aspect of it, but for me personally, a lot of times like I find it hard to get that first step. Like I don't even know like what most people even look like. For Kubrick, I had no idea that your picture was Kubrick. I genuinely thought that was you because I had never seen like a picture of him, especially when he was young.
It's kind of funny. That's kind of why I made the profile pic, because that's him when he was like my age, like 17, 18. Mm-hmm. So he
looks like it could be you.
Maybe. I'm like, that's how I'd like to think deep down, but nah, actually my new profile pic is like I recreated the photo. It's like
I did see that.
It looks kind of garbage. I need to redo it. The lighting's all whack as fuck. You can't. It looks like I'm just holding a black void, but not a camera.
Well, speaking of fucking this shit, we should probably ask you about the process of you making music videos. Oh. Because I will say I took the time and it's like 2:48.
Okay. Well,
sorry, we got a little off the rails, I guess.
It's all good, but I mean, shit, it's not like for me. We only got like to talk a little bit about music videos. I'm probably gonna bounce at like 3, but I could just bounce. You guys can still talk.
Okay. Yeah. Well, then let's get into the music video shit then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because after that, there's only like music videos and storytelling, so we could just combine that together and then talk about
the Reddit
life informations. Oh yeah, we forgot about Reddit.
Reddit on Reddit. Let's do it.
Well, I mean, because we didn't talk about. We'll transition that because we didn't talk about how we met.
So we can talk about how we met, and then we can segue from that to the music video.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So, well, essentially, we usually do this in the beginning, but we met through Reddit essentially, which is not the usual way I guess we've met most of the people on this show. I think we started with a lot of people we met like from in the past or through like other songs, but this was kind of like one of the very interesting connections because we've made a lot of friends and things work. We've made a lot of friends and got a lot of work done through Reddit. So I feel like this is the first person we've met through that, like in person, which is kind of very interesting because Reddit has been fruitful for us and it's been like something we really kind of built our brand like off of, like through finding shit we could do for covers as far as like music videos. And sure enough, we were on there and Mauricio, he found ad you put up. You can tell us about that a little bit. Like he found something you put up, and then he told me about it, and I was like, whoa, that's crazy. Yada yada.
Yeah, y'all probably thought I was trying to scam me at first or some shit.
No, honestly, I was intrigued because which one was it on? Was it on the
It was on
video request or was it on Hungry Artists?
It was on neither. I think it wasn't a hip hop subreddit.
Or hip hop subreddit? Might have been. I saw you put
It
up
was
a
like
post that you were
r/hip-hop or
like,
something.
I'm in LA doing like videos,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And I said like I can't remember exactly what I said, but like, oh, I have like $1,000 or $2,000 worth of equipment, blah blah, which I didn't actually have myself, but I knew that I could pull my friends together and us combined. Like, because that's what I've kind of done ever since I got to LA. I tried to network and find a group of people I could collaborate with so we can help each other out on shit. So I knew I'd be able to get his Blackmagic camera, some lights. Well, I had lights, but, you know, I just knew I could pull
Like you
shit.
made a solid list of like, all right, who has this, who has that, who has that, and you're like, I'm gonna keep making this. That's smart.
Exactly. And it's great because, you meet more people. You have more options to collaborate with. It's beautiful. But yeah, so anyway, I get a response from them one day. The DaVinChi slides into my DMs like, yo, we're interested. I'm like, dope. So then we just follow each other on Instagram and start talking, and they send me some of their music. And I was into it right off the bat. Like, honestly, I didn't like I listened to most of your new album, like TCVD or whatever.
Training Camp Volume 1.
Yeah, and I liked most of it. But there was a few songs I didn't like, I'll be honest. But like, for the most part, I was like really into your alternative sort of sound and sort of like heavy electronic influence, and I really liked it. And I was like, damn, I would love to work with these guys.
Definitely, bro. That's pretty sick. Cause I mean, we've mostly put out ads ourselves for people to do music videos with us. We've met a lot of we met some cool people. We've met some white people too, though. That's why it's been like dope.
Some whack people.
Yeah, like there's been like, it's kind of interesting because you don't really know how the people are gonna be when you meet them like on the other end. You were like the first person we met that was really like serious about it and was kind of like, it seemed like you vibed with our stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of like the biggest thing. Like, cause the other people we've had kind of, it seemed like they just wanted work, or maybe they didn't
really care.
Not as much about our music, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
not like they didn't care about filmmaking, maybe, like, but they didn't really care about our music like that. It was not like their concern. But I feel like the way you tapped into the vision immediately, that was something that took us aback. Like,
It honestly astounded me off. Like, that was one thing I told Wesley from the beginning when I saw, because when I saw your response, I was like, all right, this guy's pretty. He's interested. He's pretty interested into like what.
Yeah, and
into,
I imagine once you saw my Insta, you saw I wasn't like bullshitting. Like I had experience.
Exactly. So I was like, all right, this guy's, he's about it. And I was like, yeah, we should just see what's good. So I was like hitting you up, and I was like, as we started getting into it, and then when you finally responded with the Sundays, and you mentioned like when you brought the script, dude, I was like, all right, this guy's on it, because the experience we had with another guy was like, we did everything ourselves, and he was just like the filmer.
Yeah, well, that's just being lazy, man.
nah, and that's what our friend got mad at that, because he was trying to explain to us. He was like, nah, this guy's just being lazy. Like, and to us, it kind of didn't seem like that. We were like, well, maybe it's like he just doesn't know how to do this stuff. But then he started trying to make it seem like as if he did know how to do more than he did.
Because the thing is with us, we're used to doing it all on our own. So like, when we had him, we were like, all right, we're okay with you just filling in that piece of that role. But then you came in as like on a real like director role, and like real like, like director, writer, and like everything role.
We worked with one other dude though that I will say I haven't got to double work with, and you remind me of him, which is funny. His name is Yellow Light. I have to shout him out because you guys remind me of each other. Yeah,
okay. What's up, man?
He kind of looks like you. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I can see it.
Shout out.
But he's a director too, and he was worked on like our first video, but we never got to finish it. But he was the other homie that was kind of on the script vibes, because he comes from that background.
Yeah, so he was into like screenwriting and shit too.
Yeah, that's how I met him actually, which is random enough. Was at a screenwriting class.
Yeah, it was Yellow Light's super sick. Love his work as well. But I was saying like
this guy was separate than that. I just had to realize that was like, I thought for some reason I was like, wait, he gonna think we talking about him?
No, because it was just next level. Like, I mean, honestly, I can't like
the other guy,
I can't stress this enough to everybody else.
Guy.
Like, but I'm saying like the amount of like work and effort that Loren put into the video even like. The pre-work that he did, he putting into the script, building like the sheets, like the timing and everything, like
the idea of the script,
the call sheets,
even the idea.
Well, that's just kind
of
these little details.
What
it seems like to you, like, oh, it's just what's normal to us, was like for us was like, bro, this guy's like really about his shit, and like this was, I could see it like when we were like on the filming, like every time that we got together, and like whether it be like on like the internet, like seeing like, all right, you're sending me all this good stuff, or when we saw you actually filming and I see you like the way you were commanding and like the way you were kind of moving things around, I was like, all right, no, this guy's really fucking about it.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. You know, it's crazy because like, yeah, that's just like a norm for me, like working on film sets and stuff. You just learn like, yeah, you need a, like what's annoying is I had to take on the role sort of a producer, assistant director too. Normally they would be responsible for the call sheets, the scheduling, all that shit. It's annoying as fuck. I hate doing that stuff. I just want to make creative decisions.
Yeah.
So it's like the stuff I knew I had to do doesn't mean I love doing it, but I'm glad you recognized
I respect that.
Not
Thank you.
a lot
lot
of people would do that. Like, we'll do it even if they like don't like to do that shit.
Yeah.
Like, they just
I just
don't
hate
do that
logistical stuff. Yeah, that's why like I'm happy I met like a group of a smallish production company that said, hey, next time you guys have an artist, next time you have an artist you like to work with, let us know, and we'll provide you with all the equipment and stuff, and you can direct it. So I'm really looking forward to that, because I'll have a producer then, and I won't have to worry about that shit.
Well, tap in, bro. 'Cause
Nice.
we got a lot of stuff on the way, like really, really soon. That could be like for videos. We have like some cool
Yeah,
stuff.
That's
we
true.
gotta talk.
Yeah, we definitely can show you some shit too. Like, 'cause there's a lot of stuff that are like just at least like references that are cool. But one thing I wanted to say about the script that really just specifically it took me aback was how our vision of the song was one way, but the way that you interpreted the song was like, it was almost so much ahead of the game because we didn't think of it in that way.
Yeah.
And then like it took me a few days, and then I was like, oh, I see the parallels of like the apple, like of everything, kind of like, and it even started to tie into the things that I was saying. Like, I think that to me was what was the crazy part, because like it was almost like a flip reaction of first being like, dang, I don't know, this maybe be like might be too much for the song, and then I start to understand
I think
it.
maybe it's a little too ambitious, but
It's,
Nah, but
it's
I-
okay though, because
I understood
yeah.
it. Like once I understood it, it was like, oh, everything lined up as far as the references to like the
Yeah.
words and the theme and like kind of just the whole idea of it all. But it was just for me, that was really like, I like shit like that when it's like somebody can kind of have a vision of something and really put it out farther than what it is just on the floor, because
Yeah.
I feel like that's what I do when I go in to make music. Like I'm thinking about shit in 3 and 4 ways, so it's like it could be applied multiple ways, because I feel like it's always like that. Like there's always good and bad, there's always like stuff that could be interpreted one way, but you don't necessarily always got to just think of it so literal. So I think your kind of like love of that automatically was like a click. It was like,
Thank you,
oh,
man.
all right, because we'll always go further with that, with the
Yeah.
symbolism, with the
Yeah.
whatever it is. Like we'll go further.
I just feel like that's a director's job, man. You gotta have a creative vision for what it is you want to say with the music video. It's important to tell a story. And if cool shots are great, but they only get you so far, and you're not really taking full advantage of the expressive power that music videos have, which I think is such a beautiful thing when you can combine the music and the visuals to tell a story. You can have so much more emotion, so much more to say. And you're not just like doing gimmicky like bullshit. Can I just go on a quick rant for a second?
Yeah.
I love myself way more.
I fucking hate like those music videos where it's literally just like them rapping in an alleyway, and it's like shitty ass camera work. Like it's just no color grading, just ugly ass lighting, looks like a shot on an iPhone, shaky as fuck. And then they just add a bunch of like effects, like they just fucking add, like they do the scribble around like the silhouette, little random lightning bolts. You're just throwing effects on, but the problem is you're essentially polishing a turd. Okay, you're starting off with the turd. The turd is shitty cinematography, and so you're trying to polish it by adding all this other gimmicky bullshit when you didn't actually go into it with a good idea. You're kind of trying to make up for your lack of a vision.
See, that's a good way
That's
to
true.
put it, because I don't really understand how to like explain that shit a lot of times. But that's what I don't like about some of those videos. That I feel like you need an idea first.
Yeah.
like, I don't mind all the effects and all that.
I
And
liked
like I
your
like that
Princess
style.
Peach music video because of that. I feel like there's a story in that too.
Hell yeah, that
Thank
was
you,
like,
yeah.
bro. And today I found some shit. And I'm like, I was trying to delete videos, and I found a video of like the making of that, which you could use for something hard.
Okay.
I didn't realize like I took a
What do
video
you
of
mean?
us. You were like on the drums. You were like on the drums. It was a little bit slowed, and I was like in Ruben, and we were all like in hoodies because it was winter.
Oh,
And we were
you
in the
filmed us
studio.
filming,
And we were like
nice.
literally the day we recorded it. I didn't realize it.
Very cool.
Yeah, so
Oh,
that's
that's
it.
dope.
Cool. Definitely keep that. Make sure that one doesn't get.
Yeah, I was like, that's perfect. It's a perfect video. But fucking
But no, I agree with that. Like videos need to have a little bit more direction. Like for us, like we've tried so hard to, like the Princess Peach one was fun. That was a cool one.
Who made that?
That was a shout out to Reddit.
Oh, really?
That's
That's
only
dope.
met on Reddit, but we didn't get to actually meet.
Yeah.
But
So shout out to also Agve Erm. I really do hope that she recovered.
Shout out.
I don't know what happened to her. She unfortunately went into like
she went to like a coma.
she went to a
from,
coma
like,
while she was
sepsis.
doing the video for us.
And we got like an email about it. It was like because we were communicating through Reddit, and then all of a sudden we got like a Reddit message from her brother saying it was her brother, saying that she went into this and saying that like, well, if you need any files, we saw that like she was working on something, so we had already paid her. I think we just paid just after she said that, and then he sent us some, but then they didn't really keep in contact with us or tell us like anything.
He never
after
sent us
that.
the files afterwards. He sent us that message, and then I hit him up like 3 or 4 times afterwards.
Oh.
He never replied afterwards. So I honestly have
Well,
no
I mean, like,
idea
we
what
had
happened.
the ones that day. Like,
Yeah,
'cause
we
there
ju-
was some that were like right
we had
then.
the rough draft, and what we put out
Yeah.
was the rough draft.
Yeah.
That was like the latest version of what.
Literally, so
which
that
had
was like the
given us.
last version, and we had some edits. There was like some
There was
drawings.
a bunch more stuff coming.
There was like some rough drawings that we were about to do that were there, but we didn't get any like video of it being in the video.
Damn,
So we
that's
just
really
used
sad.
that.
I'm sorry to hear that, guys.
I mean, yeah, they were from
I hope
the.
she's okay. Honestly,
yeah,
I
they're
have no
from the
idea.
Is she
Netherlands.
okay now?
I
They're
tried
from
so
the
hard looking
Netherlands,
her
so
up,
we don't
dude,
really
and,
know.
like,
It was
damn.
like it was a different country, but I mean, I hope that they like have tapped in or have like kind of.
I sent him at least like 3 or 4 emails, and I tried
To check
looking.
in, yeah.
Yeah, to check in, like saying like, hey, I just wanted to make sure, like, see she's okay.
We
Like,
put a message in the beginning of the video with her name. Like,
we put like a little tribute thing like in the beginning of the video, just letting people know, like, you know,
Oh,
she worked
wow.
on this, and she unfortunately went into her situation and because we did it in the sense, because at one point we were kind of conflicted. We were like, should we put this out? Should we not? But it was in respect to the artist, and
yeah, we're like, if they didn't make it and this was the last thing they're working on, or if they don't get to like, you know, come back and talk, it's kind of like important to like kind of put it out there, like this is really their shit, like they
exactly,
really,
especially something that she had really put so much work, and
Yeah.
it came out looking so great as it did, even up to that point of just being like the
even
rough
people
draft.
keep coming up to this day, be like, oh, that video is really dope, like in your video
I
too.
just brought it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's memorable.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, no, she did an amazing job. But Reddit came through for us on that one. She came through for us.
If anything, I'm probably gonna have to head out.
You gonna head out?
Yeah.
DaVinChi Radio.
So I guess welcome back. We had Wesley step out, but we're gonna keep rocking for a bit. So I guess let's get back into the music video talk.
Yes, sir.
So what you talked about, what kind of music videos you don't like, and I agree. What kind of music videos do you like? Like when you watch a video that you're like, okay, that one.
That's a good question. I'd say one of my biggest inspirations has to be Hype Williams. I don't know if you've heard of Hype Williams.
I've heard the name, but
Travis Scott literally says it says Hype Williams. I think in this newest song, like MIA, he's like, call Hype Williams for the hype, please.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a legendary music video director, and he like, for example, he directed Sicko Mode,
Oh, okay.
the Sicko Mode music video, which is, I think, just such a phenomenal music video. And White Trash Tyler also is another. Travis Scott has some great music videos, actually. Like, White Trash Tyler is this guy that collabs with Travis a lot. He also made the documentary for Look Mom, I Can Fly, that Travis Scott doc, and he has dope ass music videos. What's his name? Something Akiro, or I forget his name. He's like I think he is Korean, but he's awesome, such a dope music video director. He directed Hiro Muai, I think, but he shot directed This Is America music video,
Okay.
which is like so legendary, right?
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then he did like what is it? He did an Earl Sweatshirt music video. I forget which song, but you know Earl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. The one was like something sinister to it, pendulum swinging, chum, I think. I don't know, but yeah, like that's just to name a few. But those guys are all dope, and I think what inspired me about them is the fact that, like I said, they try to tell a story with the visuals. There's a clear vision to what they're doing, and they understand they really understand filmmaking. They understand like the language of images, and I think just generally speaking, their music videos just are more emotionally powerful. Like,
Okay. Very cool. Very, very cool. No, I agree. Off the top of the ones that you named, I could remember the video for sure, was definitely like the Sicko Mode. Definitely the
This Is America.
This Is America. That one was probably the one I remember the most.
That one,
like, vividly.
that one broke the internet. Like
that one. And what is it in your opinion? What was it about it that made it so iconic?
I think it was like sort of the way it forced you to read between the lines, like the facade. And this is partially what inspired this Sunday's music video. It's like the way that this Is America, it had like the facade of like the happy Childish Gambino, like doing his like corny ass dances with the kids and stuff. And then in the background, it's like the darker underbelly of America. It's like you see like cop cars and people attacking each other and rioting and all this shit. And it's like, it's almost like it's almost like comparing the America we like to pretend we are versus the America we actually are. And even it's also hitting on a lot of race stuff as well. The way that Childish Gambino, he does like these exaggerated dances that are supposed to be from like Jim Crow era, like minstrel shows, like people dressing on blackface and doing like these cartoonish kind of things. And he was kind of like playing off of that stereotype and sort of commenting on it. And honestly, it's just a beautifully made music video. Like I couldn't come up with anything that's flawed about it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Yeah. I definitely see what you mean. I love seeing like you're saying, the deeper meaning behind it, because you see like the happy dancing, the smile on his face as he's doing all these moves, but in like the scenery and what's going on behind is really like the deeper shit, like you're saying. Like,
and I love the way you see like the truth for a second in his face. It's almost like, he opens that door next to all the people they're singing, the like gospel choir or whatever, and his face just goes flat for a second, and he just grabs an AK and just, and that was just so fucking intense. Oh my god, that like juxtaposition. I really do be out here using pretentious ass words. Fucking that AK part, right? Mm-hmm. Intense as fuck, like.
Yeah. Did you see the movie that he put out that was like kind of like dealing with like also that had like that partial
Atlanta, the show Atlanta,
Guava Island?
I have not seen that. Really, he directed a movie.
Yeah, bro.
What? How have I not seen this shit?
I'm not 100% sure if he might have directed or written it, one of the two, but he definitely starred in it. Guava Island, and Rihanna is in it. She's like the co-star.
Okay. Have you seen the show Atlanta?
I did. Love that show.
The Migos episode. The Migos,
it's so
the
good.
Four Amigos. Oh man.
I'm waiting for season 3.
Childish Gambino, or should I say, what's his real name? Danny Glover.
Yeah.
It's fucking genius, man.
Super genius. That he's a genuine like one of the people that I think is gonna go down like the history books of like a real artist of our time.
He is like a Renaissance man. He can do everything. He's almost like sort of like Bo Burnham in a sense. Like he can do you know Bo Burnham?
Yeah.
Like he can do everything. He can direct, write, edit, record, sing. He's a multi-talented genius. Like
it's amazing watching his stand-up or his like show, his events. That he puts. I don't even know what to call it stand-up because it's like a mix of all this.
Yeah, he does stand-up too. Like he does fucking everything.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like.
Jack of all trades, man. He's not a jack of all trades, master of none. He's a jack of all trades, master of everything.
Yeah, it's insane. He's both of those guys are honestly huge inspirations, just because of the fact that they do it all.
Creative machines.
Creative machines, exactly, dude. It's insane. But on that wave, who else would you put in that category? Is there anybody else that kind of sticks out to you like that, where they? Like, does that hold weight to you? Those kind of creative powerhouses like a Bo Burnham or like a Childish Gambino? And is there another person that comes out to you like where you're like, okay, this person?
Yeah, man. A lot of the directors that have been getting big lately, especially with A24 films, like Ari Aster in particular, Robert Eggers. I know you probably haven't heard of these people, like the Safdie brothers, but they are just fucking like we were saying, creative powerhouses. They're writer directors. They know their way around the art of film so well, and it's just a beautiful thing to see that despite all the fucking franchises and reboots and sequels and garbage being pumped into our brains, there's fucking still some real artists out there that are getting a chance to create an original vision. I know it sounds very idealized, but like on the real, like I'm kind of sick of like controlling everything in terms of entertainment.
I agree. It's crazy to see how
Maybe
much.
I shouldn't say this on a podcast if I end up making him. I don't want to burn this bridge.
It's okay. We'll edit this part out. But no, it is very interesting to see how, you know, certain corporations, not to name anybody specifically,
certain corporations
can really just monopolize like an industry, and in doing so can really
monopolize creativity,
yeah. And they force, like, it's interesting because they end up forcing their worldview of like what is creativity.
It's just pure capitalism. It's just giving the people what they want, or at least what people think they want, just to make money. It's not challenging anyone's expectations. It's giving them soft serve movies in a nice packaged, neat bow, easily consumable, doesn't challenge us, doesn't bring us anywhere as a society to try to learn and change. And I think that, like, just generally speaking, they're movies made for the lowest common denominator. Like, they're movies made with populism in mind, to appeal to the masses, versus trying to stand up for something and say something that maybe isn't that popular. Maybe having it's almost like how these fucking corporations have their pride flag logos on some shit, and then the Chinese version of so it'll be like Chevrolet USA Twitter will be like a pride flag logo, and then Chevrolet China, no pride flag. Same thing. Single, it's Bethesda, Xbox, Microsoft, all these companies, they all have a pride flag for their main one, and then like China, in Middle East, it's all the Middle East accounts, no pride flag. And what that says is that it's just appealing to a market. They don't actually care about standing up for anything. They don't care about LGBTQ people. They care about your money. That's all they care about. And I mean, I don't know why I'm acting so surprised. I mean, this is just that's what a business does. But it's just so blatant that, like, companies like that can't actually have an original thing, something to say that isn't just to appeal to the masses.
No, I agree. That's on some really deep shit, because you touched on a lot of really interesting points there. That, like, the biggest thing for me that, like, I agree, it's crazy the biggest thing for me is, like you're saying, the difference in marketing because of where in the world they are. And it's crazy because you mentioned China, and China is really like the world leader. You know what I mean? Like, the US is, like, to an extent, a world leader, but we're not the world leader. The world leader comes down to China. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, China makes everything for us.
Exactly. Yeah. You know what I mean? They make everything for us, and we're in debt to China. Like, on top of that, like,
this is facts. Most people don't know we invaded China too in the 1800s. People don't know that. We fucking invaded China.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that one. That's
I know. The fucking some Chinese dudes that live at the co-op where this housing area I live at. They're telling me about that. They're like, they don't teach you everything in those schools of yours.
I believe it. I mean, I believe that they don't. Like, it's that's on some other shit too. Like, seeing, like, I've heard that now they're changing, like, history books.
This is like cutting.
DaVinChi Radio.
The control of China, and seeing, like, that's where I was going with this, is like, seeing these big studio companies have to appeal to these markets, and they're appealing specifically to China. And China is so restrictive in the way that they force their people to live a certain way, and are
so it's like they took Finn off the poster of Star Wars, like the last Rise of Skywalker, because I don't know, I guess they thought it wouldn't appeal to Chinese markets if there was a black dude on the poster. It's fucked up.
It is pretty fucked up, dude. But it's fucked up how much, like, it's fucked up, one, that they would even, like, that's even a thing, that they feel like that would detract from a Chinese market to begin with. But it's
such a shame.
Sad.
I just hate that companies are willing to bend to the wills of China, or not just China in particular, really any outside source. They don't stand up for anything. All they care about is making money. That's what we're saying, And
it's sad, but it's interesting because in that cycle of making money, they force, like, these companies get so big, and at the end of the day, like, the people that they have working for them are phenomenal artists, you know what I mean? Like, phenomenal directors, or phenomenal, like, animators, phenomenal casting, whoever it may be, right? But they take so much control of this market that those people that have these potential to do so much other great shit can't.
They're stuck in this system. Yeah.
Exactly, because
and
they're
that's
forced
what you were
into that.
saying about not wanting to like jump into studio shit.
I can't do it because like, as much as like I've learned so much, and I'm versatile enough, I feel like, to be in a recording studio or like in a graphic design house or something like that. Like, I could work my way around either to some extent, but it's to the point where like if I get into there, I feel like it's really gonna stifle me creatively.
Yeah.
Because
you're spitting facts, spitting straight facts.
Like the only way I could work for a house or like do something for like another place is if I'm coming in as like a creative director role, or I've coming in as like a project manager, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna use your resources to bring my vision to life. Then that's something I can work with. But if it's something where I'm coming in as like, I'm gonna be the assistant to something, or I'm gonna be like the stage or like a engineer technician or whatever, can't do it. It's gonna kill me personally.
I feel that. It's like, that's why I would rather just do freelance filmmaking right now instead of being like something like a PA. And we talked about this earlier, but essentially, like, I feel confident that I can work my way up doing gigs, doing music videos, commercials, stuff like that, making some short films on the side. I feel like eventually if I continue doing this now, the goal is to be, you know, by the time I'm out of college, maybe I already have a steady job. I already have enough opportunities to jump into, you know, having that be my full-time job, you know?
Without a doubt. And like that, I guess that's the struggle. Like, you know, I mean, Wesley had to go right now to, you know, I just came in from a couple from interviews yesterday, like having to get those jobs to just kind of sustain you to do what you got to do in the meantime.
I know, and it's probably gonna be my life probably next year. My parents were kind of letting me off the hook my first year of college, but next year they're probably finna be like, get your ass a job, boy. Like, okay, yeah, you're making some money here and there doing film shit, but like, you know, we don't want to keep paying your rent for your lazy ass.
I feel you. But I mean, at least it's great that you're so young, you got into it, and then you're already making money off of it. You're already building your production team. You're already doing your...
That's the goal, yeah.
You're already in it. You know what I mean? Like, that's the biggest thing. And then the second thing is just commitment with it. You just got to stick with it. And I think that's, like, what it comes down to. And that's the hard part of not getting into the field, because some people see, like, sticking with it as getting into the field and then, like, grinding their way through it, which is doable. But it's going to, like... grinding your way through it is also kind of like gonna grind you away. It's gonna grind away your creativity to an extent. But
also, I think it's kind of I don't know, I can't speak on the music industry, but in terms of the film industry, I do believe it's kind of a myth to have, and it's a facade, it's a fake dream that Hollywood feeds to film students, stuff, that to essentially base their careers off of hopes and dreams, to just work as a PA and be like, well, if I show up on time and I shake enough hands, maybe I can make a film. It's like, no, you're going to be exploited. You're going to be moving on fucking boxes for minimum wage for 12 hours a day. And okay, and that's not to say that you can't have a fulfilling job on a film set. Obviously you can, as a more technical role like sound or key grip, gaffer, whatever. But I think it's ultimately a myth fed to us by Hollywood that if you just start out as a PA, then you'll work your way up to the top, and they just tell that to you so you'll be willing to be overworked and take shitty hours and stuff because you think that it's going to pay off someday. And it's like, no, if you want to become a filmmaker, be a filmmaker. Start now. Start taking advantage of your creativity. And you know, obviously you have to make money, so like I can understand that, but like don't make that be, if you want to work as a PA on the side to make money, obviously, like whatever, that's fine, but I wouldn't say base your entire career off of some like nebulous abstract hope that somehow you're gonna become a director in 10 years. It's like, dude, no, you have to fucking, it's not about being a PA, it's about like meeting collaborators.
Pine Tree Radio.
I think it's okay. Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh,
dude?
no worries. We're talking about being the cog in the machine, or about being
cog in the machine.
The cog in the machine,
man.
But being like
just one of the people, dude.
Just being overworked, and I agree. Like, it's a myth. How many like big directors or people that, because I guess the question is, we're assuming that these people would want roles as a director or as, like, say, like an actor or these other, what are considered like the high, maybe a producer or like, director of cinematography or like certain director of roles. And like in those roles, like you just have to do it to get into those roles. You know what I mean? Like you have to have an example of like a portfolio of people just getting into it. Like I'm sure most of the major directors, that you aspire to, I mean, I can't really speak because I don't know them for sure, but I would assume that not many of them went through the ranks of, working like through
James Cameron, director of Terminator, Avatar, Titanic, to name a few. I think he's a billionaire, or at least in the 100 millionaires. He never went to film school. Kubrick never was a PA. He just started filming shit, working his way up, making things, improving himself to the people that hired him. Obviously he was doing that back in the 50s, so not the most contemporary example. A more contemporary example would be like the Safdie brothers, that knew it was the important thing was getting it right and making things that they cared about, not bending over backwards for other people. And that's not to say they did work on the side, but they knew that when it came to their films, they couldn't sacrifice their freedom to say what they wanted to say by working for some big soulless corporation.
Oh yeah, no, it's super true, and that's crazy. Like, because you bring out these perfect examples of these people that did it, and it's a perfect example of these people that they get to these points are doing it because they love it. They're doing it because that's just what they do, and it's just like their inner drive. It's not because they feel like, and I think that's really a distinctive factor. And I don't mean to say this in a mean way, and like saying it demeaningly to the people. Because without the people that do all those other jobs, like the PA, like the gaffers and all this,
I think we already said
they make it run. You know what I mean?
And I think we already said that those jobs aren't. There's nothing wrong with having a job like that to get by. Like
they're essential.
You need to be able to pay your rent and to eat. Like obviously, unless you have I guess wealthy ass parents that can support you forever. You can't just like, I'm just gonna do what I want and just be creative. It's like, well, nah, bro. Mm-hmm. Like, the real world is a thing, and I think sometimes college students forget that. But so it's like that's totally fine doing those types of jobs, and I don't think there's anything shameful about it, and they're very important. But at the same time, I think if you're aspiring to be something like a director or a vocalist or producer such as yourself, you have to come from a place of falling in love with what you're making. And not just doing it for the money.
Exactly.
You have to, be a PA, but make short films on the side too,
Mm-hmm. No, I agree wholeheartedly. That was deep. That was a very interesting conversation.
Yeah, man. What time is it?
It's like 3:30 right now.
Oh, damn. That's not even halfway to 4. How much longer do you want to go?
We could just do the life affirmation segment.
Yeah.
And
we haven't even gotten to that. Let's do that, and then we can wrap it up.
Yeah.
Mind Tree Radio.
For this week, one thing that I've been thinking about is the idea of respect. For me, respect is an interesting thing because, like, at a root of it, it's like a level of subservience. You know what I mean? Like, it's a way of like saying like, I feel like it's a way of like being like, okay, like in the way some people expect it almost sometimes as well, because it's one of those things, I don't even know how to get it, like, it's one of those things where like it's a touchy subject to even think or talk about, but like respect for others is hard. Like I believe in having as much respect as you can for others, and as they have for you as well, but it's a thing of like, it's a degree of subservience, you know what I mean? And so there's certain things where like certain people take that to they take that and abuse that level where they're like, okay, no, you're not showing respect, but it's like, no, you're not asking for respect, you're asking for subservience here.
My headphones just, oh wait, I stopped hearing your mic.
Is my mic?
Yeah, I'm not hearing your
this
mic.
This fucking mic. Do I need to?
Oh, now it started again.
I need to like just tape
that's
this
so
up here.
Weird. It just cut out.
It's this guy right here.
That fucking XLR.
Yeah.
Damn. You know what? Fuck. I wish you guys had told me was happening. I would have brought my camera. Would have brought some extra XLRs, dude.
It's all right. It's next time.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, So anyway, respect.
Respect and like just seeing it as like some people see it sometimes as like they say that they're demanding respect, but it's like the way I see it is like respect is muddied with subservience. So I feel like sometimes when people ask for respect, they're really just asking for you to be subservient to them, or to be like, nah, just like acknowledge me, like this is my authority or this is my power in certain things. Sure. And it's kind of like, is that really respect, or are you just trying to be powerful over somebody else and be like, oh no, you're not, using respect as like a guise to go around it.
Yeah, it's like, I think sometimes people can abuse people that are too nice. Like if someone is like a really respectful person, a lot of times people think they can just get away with treating them however they want, and that person will like forgive them or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like almost being too nice. Like you have to have conviction.
Yeah. No, that's true.
I don't know if that's what you were saying at all.
No, it's kind of on that wave. It's kind of like it's on a different aspect of it, but it's on somewhere where I agree, and I do see what you're saying. It's like, because being the too nice is also like being too nice is, in other words, of also sometimes being overly respectful or overly subservient. Sometimes, that's the too nice thing of being of just like, okay, no, just I'm gonna take it, and so people feel like they can overpower you or not. They attempt to overpower you and like to be like, all right, this is what's gonna happen, and they just expect you to take it because you're normally that nice. But no, you, like you're saying, you gotta have conviction and being like, nah, I'm standing up for this.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean be arrogant. It means that make choices independent of what other people want from you.
Mm-hmm. I agree. But yeah, that's where my head's been at a little bit this past week. How about you? What you been thinking of?
Oh man, honestly, these days I've been thinking about like, just, I guess, for me it's probably like for me it's probably like what I guess passion. My idea of passion has definitely changed. I think the way I value passion has changed. When I was younger, I would just be so happy to have any opportunity to make something, and my passion made me sometimes be like too much of a workaholic on something that ultimately wasn't really worth that amount of effort. Like it's just some stupid fucking like commercial or something that nobody's gonna see, and I try so hard on it. And so now I've realized how to better, I think, know what my time is worth. Know that sometimes when you are too passionate, it's how employers, clients can read that as, oh, he's willing to do more for less. He's willing to, I can not pay him shit and he'll still work his ass off. And I've had to learn that no, I have to have a bar, and I also have to prioritize what's worth being passionate about. Okay, I can work on the side, and like I've been doing like editing for these like marketing companies, and like just fucking just like doing kind of boring clientele work on the side. And I've realized that it's not like I have to sort of like, what's the word, like moderate what I put time and energy into. If I try to put the equal amount of time and energy into all my projects, I'll get burnt out. And so now that I have a lot more opportunities coming my way, more than I did in like high school because there's nothing going on. Now that it's really taught me how to prioritize my goals and what I want to get out of filmmaking, which path down the forked road do I go down. And I feel like part of that has been my new understanding of passion, and being like in realizing that like it's not worth being passionate about everything. Some things are like you are worth your time and focusing on, maybe even doing it for free if it's like a passion project. But there are some things that are just about like doing it for the money, and you have to know how to delineate between those two things, I guess.
I feel you, and it's a hard one. It's a hard one because I really relate to that on that one, because like I'm someone that I really feel like.
Did I make any fucking sense? By the way,
I agree. I'm
like kind of high as fuck. So.
I felt like it made all the sense in the world to me. Like,
all right, thank you.
Like it's something that, like, I agree. Like, it's something that you want to give all.
Can I say one thing? It's just about prioritizing your time. It's about knowing which offers to take and which ones to turn down, knowing what you actually want to put passion and effort into. That's pretty much what I was trying to say, distilled down into like one sentence.
Nice. So actually I want to follow up on that then really quick. So now where do you see, like, where is your head at with when you're taking projects? Are you taking projects to fill certain spots in your portfolio to be like, okay, I don't have this yet, so I want to fill this in? Or are you doing it because, like, are you pursuing like a specific genre because you know you're killing in that genre and you want to keep moving up in that genre?
So my mentality used to be, just do a little bit of everything to get a more broad portfolio. And I think now I'm at a point where my portfolio is strong enough that I can start honing in more on where I want to go. That's what I'm talking when I say music videos and commercials, nothing else. I'm not filming any of this other bullshit. And if I am, I better be paid. I'm not just doing favors anymore. A lot of times people see artists, not just filmmakers, someone that plays an instrument, whatever, as like almost like just a fucking like apple tree to just pick apples from. Just like, I'm gonna take this for myself. Funny that I'm using apples, talking about the vine tree out here. But like people seem to not. It's so weird because in any other field of work, people expect that they would have to pay someone for their time. It's like, asking your plumber, can you just come over and work on this? It'll be great for your portfolio. It'll be great exposure. Yeah. If I hear the words portfolio and exposure one more time, bro, I'm getting the strap. Like,
I feel you.
It's like, okay, this is what I mean by if something's worth my time. Like, I'm not just a charity case. And what's even more annoying is that when people just want you for your equipment, this happens all the time. People are just like, yo, can you like help me out in this thing? But you discover they don't really want you to do anything. They just want to take advantage of your equipment. And I realize that it's about knowing what's worth my time. Now I only choose things that I know I'm going to get paid for, A. B, I know that it's something that I actually care about doing. And, it's like, I'm just so done with the bullshit of people. Like, next time someone asks me, like, if I'll do something for free, I'll ask them what they do for a living. They're like, oh, well, I'm a fucking, I'm a accountant. It's like, okay, well, can you do my taxes for free? Yeah, you want to? No, that's right. You have to, because that's your job. Like, it takes skill. It's a certain service you have to pay for.
No, I agree, and that's part of like the general like capitalistic society thing of like the thing that money takes everything, and I agree with you because it's hard. Like, personally, I find myself in that same boat because I'm someone that has been given. I'm notorious for giving out too much of like my stuff and time and energy for free.
Yeah, sometimes you're too much of an artist. You just want to make, but sometimes you have to know what's worth your time.
Exactly. And so it's like to that point where like I get it. I feel you. Like you do so many things for free, and like because for me I'll still do things for free, like for certain friends of mine.
I
because
will
I'm
too.
Like, because it's something that I fuck with. I'm like,
you know what?
I really believe in you,
yeah.
and I want to. But that's my only.
But
that's
you
my
have to really. It can't be a favor. You have to really care about it.
Believe in it. Exactly.
Don't just like do something because I guess maybe it'll be good on my portfolio, but I'm not getting paid. It's like if I'm not getting paid, it's a passion project.
Exactly.
It's something I really want to do, regardless of money.
Exactly, and it's to the point where like I'm in the same boat where it's like only taking projects now of like certain people, because I've done a couple of like mixing and mastering and commission projects for like graphic design for a couple other folks here and there, and it was hard at first because at first I was just doing everything for free. I was just giving all like for anybody that asked, because I was just like, I want to practice, I want to get nicer at it, like I'm just trying to get my chops up with it, right?
Yeah.
And it got to the point where like I still do it, and I'll still do it for certain folks because I still want to get my chops up, and I still want to fine-tune my skills in certain assets in certain ways. But then it's also to the point where like, and it's in that same fashion where you're saying like certain people only want you for your equipment, or certainly people want you for certain things. It's like, is this even worth my time to keep even doing that?
Exactly.
Or like in certain
question's hard to answer, man.
It's really hard to answer. Or when some folks come up to you, like you already have like a repertoire with them, but you're like, you know what, I've kind of lost a certain level of passion in what I'm doing with you now, and it's like even though you are paying me, like I don't know, like you know what I mean, like it's hard. It's a hard
it's
line
like what
to
you're
balance.
saying, like you could be work for an engineering internship and not get paid and just be a fucking assistant. It's like, is that worth your time?
Exactly. So some people, they make the argument of like, I guess, yeah, like for some people are like, oh, if they intern for someone that's big, like I get it, because it's worth your time in the sense of like,
it'll help you up the chain.
Exactly.
I guess.
You're gaining like a certain level of at the end of it, it's all a level of experience and like what you're gaining with it and like what you can do with that experience. But there's also the level of like, is this experience going to outweigh what the monetary value that I can gain from this?
It's just so crazy because now like you can do this shit on your own. Back in the day, everyone just had to work for a studio. Now this equipment is so accessible. I mean, accessible music software I feel like has changed the game, right?
Yeah.
Even more DIY, like it's
100%.
so doable.
It's insane. Like,
there's a lot of parallels between that and filmmaking. You know, editing software, fucking literally iPhone cameras are amazing. Like the accessibility is skyrocketed. And I think that's both a good and a bad thing. I think it's good because it allows everyone to be able to express themselves more in a more democratic way, where everyone has like a more level playing field of resources available to them. But it's bad in the sense that there's more competition than ever, so it's harder to get noticed. It's harder to stand out from just the fucking, just the entire like sea of other people's shit, you know?
It's very, very true. It's 100% true. It's oversaturated, but like there's so many people out there that it's ridiculously hard, and I think that's actually a big reason why, like you were saying earlier, your realization with passion, it's like, I feel like it is to an extent, you know, allocating like, okay, which one to, you know, be passionate about, but in the one you're passionate about, I think it's about being the most passionate, because that, like, something we've mentioned a lot on the podcast is how much you can, like, when you're listening to a song, you can feel the emotion. If the artist really like went in on it, you can more often than not feel it when you're listening to it, because you're just like, wow, that feels powerful.
That's why I love hip-hop. It feels so raw most of the time. I feel like with pop songs, it's just this manufactured, committee-written bullshit.
It very much is like that, but it also like that same relation goes into like the film side of it, where it's like, you know, there's like
so many parallels,
and it's the art, you know, it's just the parallel of art and life and everything kind of coinciding together. But like seeing how, like in those, it always comes out to the emotion in is the emotion you get out. So like the amount of passion and like love that you put into your work is ultimately what someone is gonna, the amount of passion and love someone's gonna pull out. You know, so it's like, I agree, it's about just kind of knowing which ones you want to prioritize on, but on the one you do, just fucking go in.
I couldn't agree more, dude. Fucking facts.
This was a great episode.
Yeah, this is affirmation. That's the end of it. Affirmations,
that's
right?
I'll put the playlist on for afterwards. I don't want to keep you here too much longer.
Yeah, man.
But thank you for coming, bro. It was amazing.
Of course. Yeah,
so where I mean, I keep motioning to this even though the camera's not there anymore. I'm just used to it. But where can the people find you?
Oh yeah, man. You can find me on Instagram. It's Loren, LOREN _sauce SAUCE. It's my Insta, so you can see a lot of my work I post on there. In the description on my channel, you can see in the bio of my Insta, you can find my channel. You can see some of my work, or you can just type in Loren Films on YouTube. I'll probably pop up. And you know, some of the shit I make doesn't get posted on my channel because it's for clients, and so if it's a music video, I'll be on like the artist channel, but a lot of times I'll still post about it on my Insta. So yeah, that's me.
Nice. And any new projects coming up soon? People
yes,
be looking out for.
Yeah, I'm making like a music video right now. It's currently in the post-production stage, with a artist that I'm quite a big fan of, but it's coming out soon. I don't know if I'm allowed to say when, but soon, very soon.
Nice. Very cool. Very, very cool. We'll definitely put out, if we know the date by the time we put this out, we'll put it in the description.
Hell yeah.
But thank you again for coming in, and thank you everyone for listening. Peace.
All right, sweet. Peace out.
Sunny days, summer night, sun rays. Is it Monday or lazy Sunday? Cruising on the beach till the sun fades, blowing hella gas. I am unfazed, dark shades, hoodie too. Baby boo, come ride with me. Backwards in designer, we dirty shoes with a white tee. She like me. She like me. Sunny days, summer night, sun rays. Is it Monday or lazy Sunday? Cruising on the beach till the sun fades, blowing hella gas. I am unfazed, dark shades, hoodie too. Baby boo, come ride with me. Backwards in designer, we dirty shoes with a white tee. She like me. She like me.
Got a couple vices that I like to mix. Bang after bang, yeah, I like to win. Straight off the dome, you can't write like this. Top 5 and I don't fight for fit. I'ma ice my bitch, ice out my kids, I'ma ice my wrist. Full hustle in this life for sin. God given, why I shine like this?
Sunny days, summer night, sun rays. Is it Monday or lazy Sunday? Cruising on the beach till the sun fades, blowing hella gas. I am unfazed, dark shades, hoodie too. Baby boo, come ride with me. Backwards in designer, we dirty shoes with a white tee. She like me. She like me.